I'm still calm and humble.
Welcome back to another episode of Ultimate One Wrestling News. I am your host, the Ultimate One, and this is episode 7, the bringing you live. And we're going to be talking about tonight about the G1 Climax that happened last week. The A block started, and then we're going to be talking about some of the matches from Slammiversary. Also, I have news of Impact Wrestlers contract that just finished. We're going to be talking about two tag teams that are going back and forth on Twitter. And we're going to be talking about Ring of Honor. We're going to be talking about Booker T pulling out of Starcast. And we're going to be talking about WWE stuff, of course, and other stuff. But I just want to thank everybody who just tuned in. Thank you for those subscribers who have subscribed already on my channel. I want to thank those who are watching right now. If you like the content that I have or any of my other episodes that are in my wrestling podcast, just hit the subscribe button and then hit the notification bell so when you could get all the new videos that I put here, and you get first dip on what's going on behind the curtain of professional wrestling. I also am in Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Ultimate One Wrestling News, same name. I also have a podcast in Apple's iTunes. It's called Ultimate One Wrestling Report. I do 2 podcasts a week, catching all the stuff that's going on during the week, and giving you all the little stuff that's going on, give you a head jump on everything. So when either you're gonna watch an event during the week, a weekend, you already know what's going on. You get a first dip on what's going on, and even though it's cool to have a surprise here and there, but you already know what's gonna happen or what's about to happen. So we're gonna start off, first of all, we're gonna talk about the G1 Climax. The G1 Climax, this past Saturday, the A block started. There was a couple of tag team matches, and in the event, one match that really surprised me that they put was the Gorilla of Destiny versus Roppongi Vice, Show and Yo versus Tamaloa and Tamatanga. I don't think it was for the tag team belts, because I don't think they mentioned it, but it was kind of surprising that I saw the former junior IWGP champ Roppongi Vice going against the actual heavyweight tag team champions of IWGP, the Gorillas of Destiny. It kind of surprised me that actually was put together. The match was pretty good. Show and Joe showed that they can hang with the Gorillas of Destiny, but of course that match lasted about 15-17 minutes. The Gorillas of Destiny won that match, but it was after the match in the post interview where the Gorillas of Destiny pretty much called out the Revival, because the Revival, I believe in the week prior to that, they were talking about how they're the top guys in the tag team wrestling scene, and they were calling out all the tag team in professional wrestling. And the Gorillas of Destiny said, well, if you guys are the top guys, how is it that you're the top guys when you're not defending your belts all over the world? We've been defending the belts in Ring of Honor, CMML, and others promotions. He said, if you want to be the top guys, you need to get out of the cage, meaning that you need to leave WWE. Well, we know that they can't leave WWE because they stuck with WWE till 2020. But that was something that really caught my attention. There were 3 matches that caught my attention, and the A block was one, and there were surprises. And it was Lance Archer from the Killer Elite Squad versus Will Ospreay. That match was great and everything, and it was just the surprise ending of it, where Lance Archer actually beat Will Ospreay, and it threw me off, because I don't know if it's because New Japan now is going to push Lance Archer because he was out with injury, came back. But he pinned Will Ospreay, so now, not that Will Ospreay is a bad wrestler, but Will Ospreay, as the last 3 months, he's been the hottest wrestler, because that Seth Rollins called him out, and the Twitter war back and forth. But then again, you expect something from Seth Rollins, because he wants to claim himself the best wrestler. We know who is the best wrestler. It's that guy with the IWGP belt around his waist. But we'll talk about that later. So Lance Archer beat him. So he collects 2 points. Also, the Evil versus Bad Luck Fale was pretty good. The ending of that, Bad Luck Fale beats Evil. Another surprising match that caught me off guard was Zack Sabre Jr. versus Sonata. Sonata, he actually went and beat and pin Zack Sabre Jr. I was surprised, and the reason I say that because Zack Sabre Jr., of course, he's a submission expert, and that match was pretty much on the mat and pulling and grabbing, octopus, arm bars, and all that. And I thought, well, so now is gonna again end up giving up somewhere down the line, because these guys have faced each other before in G1 Climax tournament, also in the, if I believe, for the World Cup, New Japan World Cup last year, where Zack Sabre beat everybody, and he won the cup, the New Japan Cup. But it kind of surprised me that he actually pinned Zack Sabre Jr. Zack Sabre Jr. was pissed off and put an armbar on the referee that people had to come in there and save the referee. One match also that I was very interested was Dakota Ibushi against Kenta. You guys know that Kenta used to be Hideo Itami in NXT. He came back to Japan. Now he got his original name, Kenta. That match was hard-hitting, kicks, submission. It was like a shoe fighting style match, but Kenta was too much for Ibushi, and he gave him the GTS and pinned Ibushi. So, was I surprised that Kenta was going to be Ibushi? Not really, because you got to push the guy. Kenta is no joke. This guy is a legend in wrestling in Japan. When he was in Noah, this guy is no joke. So he won the match. Of course, the Okada versus Tanahashi, that was the main event. Of course, Rainmaker, boom, Okada beats Tanahashi. Okada gets a 2 points on that. But it was that post interview that was going on. Access Channel decided to throw the cameras in the back to have a post-match interview with Okada, and so happened that a reporter went out of nowhere and asked Okada, did you have to bring your A game tonight? So because there is another company doing a show here tomorrow, and we all know what happened when you went to the excursion with this company. The reporter was talking about Impact. Impact in 2007 had Okada before he became the Rainmaker and put him with Samoa Joe as the Green Hornet. And of course, Impact kind of messed their relationship with New Japan. New Japan don't want to deal with them at all. But as soon as that guy asked that question, the cameras went and got out of there real quick. And the reason I think that happened was because TNA or Impact is negotiating with the Access Channel to get a spot or a slot in there, because Impact is trying to get out of that the current channel they're in Pursue, which nobody has that, so nobody really can watch that. So I get to see Impact through YouTube because nobody has Pursue. So so that was going on. I think I found it kind of funny that happened. Slammiversary, what happened the night after, and that was a good card that gave Impact the number 4 spot and the top 6 promotion in the wrestling business right now. Surpassing Ring of Honor, yes, surpassing. This Slammiversary show was great. If you guys haven't seen it, I will recommend for you to see the matches. There are, I believe, 3 matches that actually 4 matches I would recommend. The first one was the I believe the Killer Cross, actually more than one. It's like 5 or 6 matches. I don't know how many matches was it. The Killer Cross versus Eddie Edwards. That was a good match. Killer Cross showed his very evil side. I love Killer Cross, my favorite heel. Another match that brought my attention was the women's 4-way, which Jessica Havoc, Sue Young, I think is her name, Valkyrie, and Rose. I forgot her name. Rose. And that match was great. At one point, Valkyrie went and powerbomb Rose and Sue Young on a ladder that was in the ring, and they both took that bump, and I was like, oh my god, they killed themselves. But that match was great. Valkyrie holds on to her Knockouts Championship. That was a great match. Another match that really caught my eyes, and I was impressed, was Michael Elgin versus Brian Cage. Michael Elgin showed his wrestling skill. It reminded me when he was in Ring of Honor. Show his wrestling skill. New Japan, I don't know what you did. You had this guy for almost 2 or 3 years. You did not use him correctly, and you only gave him two title rings, and they were very short. He won the Intercontinental, IWGP belt, and he won the open weight belt, and that was reigns lasted probably not even a month, probably a month and a half. But Michael Elgin brought it to Brian Cage, and Brian Cage and Elgin hit each other with everything. Brian Cage escaped with his belt while he rolled up Elgin and beat him. When Elgin was trying to do an Elgin bomb, he somehow rolled him over and pinned him. But after the match, Elgin was so pissed off, he grabbed Don Callis, who was doing commentating by ringside. He was going to give him the Elgin bomb, but when a black figure came out of nowhere in the crowd, came through over the barricade, jumped into the ring with a black hood and a black mask, and speared Michael Elgin. Let's put it this way, he didn't spear, he gored him. So you know who that person was, and that was Rhino. Rhino now is with TNA, so that was crazy. Then after that match, I believe it was the Sami Callihan and Tessa Blanchard. Tessa Blanchard, she is now, to me, the number one woman and the number one wrestling woman in the world right now. This woman brought it to Sami Callihan. Sami Callihan wasn't afraid to give her what she deserves as far as bumps and all that. He brought it to her, and she brought it back to him. And this match was great. If you guys have not seen this match, I suggest you to go see it. Sami Callihan and Tessa Blanchard in an intergender match. And it's funny because AEW or Tony Khan mentioned that AEW would never have an intergender match because, I think Tony Khan don't like the domestic violence. Whatever. Domestic violence is domestic violence. That's two partners living together. This is a wrestling business. Has nothing to do with it. But hey, I respect Tony Khan's what he said if he doesn't want to do it. But you're gonna miss out because this woman just proved to the world that she could be in the ring with Sami Callihan, one of the craziest wrestler right now in the business. And she, even though she lost, but she showed how tough of a woman she is. Sami Callihan won the match, but it shows how tough she is. And the only thing down about that I didn't like about Slammiversary was the RVD versus Moose. I think that was a waste of a match. RVD doesn't look healthy. He looks pale. He was doing the same thing he'd been doing since 1995. Moose, he looks dominant. He was dominating most of the match. But I don't understand why you have RVD there. I know you're trying to do a storyline with the ECW, but now you go and bring Rhino into the mix. I don't know. This reminds me of 2008, when they had the EV2, which was the Extreme version 2. I don't know where they're going with this. But anyway, so that was those two shows. So let me get real quick here. As far as TNA, Johnny Impact, his contract is over. He's no longer with Impact. He's not contractual obligated to Impact anymore. His wife is, since she's the Knockouts champion, she's signed to 2019, the ending of 2019. So I don't know if he's going to continue working with Impact without a contract. Never know. A lot of wrestlers do it. I mean, Jonathan Gresham is doing it now with Ring of Honor. He's wrestling without a contract, but he's still wrestling for them. So that's cool. The president of CMML, Mr. Paco Alonso, passed away over the week. And you all saw how Jericho was crying. Chris Jericho posted a video of Instagram crying and giving him, he was grateful of all the help that Mr. Alonso did for him. Mr. Alonso was the first man who gave him the name Corazon de Leon, which means Lionheart. So that was the man who gave him that name. He was grateful and told him that he loved him and he missed it. And if you guys want to hear more, the backstory of that, you go to Jericho Podcast and he will tell you the whole story. He got a podcast about their whole relationship. So that was I think it was put out, I think yesterday or the day before yesterday. Dalton Castle is saying that he's not worried about Ring of Honor. I think you should be worried because right now, you guys are not, that Ring of Honor is not making a lot of noise. I mean, they do have a couple of shows coming up, which is, I think in 2 weeks, they have the Miami Mayhem with the Gorillas of Destiny versus the Briscoe Brothers, No Holds Barred New York City Street Fight, and they have the Alex Shelley, Jay Lethal, Matt Taven, three-way for the world title. I think they're doing too much of the three ways. It's ridiculous. But they need help. The Summer Spectacular, they're already setting that up with New Japan, which have Nick Aldis defending the belt with one of the members of Villain Enterprise. We don't know what they're gonna be. Booker T pulls out off Starcast. Apparently, he claimed that he was not told by WWE to pull out of Starcast. He claimed that Conrad never told him that it was for Starcast and it was an autograph signing. So Booker T, you're making yourself look like a fool because you know that Conrad, that's all he does, Starcast. And of course, WWE said he had to pull out because Starcast, even though it's not affiliated with AEW, but they always do this when an AEW event. New Jack, publishing a book. You should check that out. I believe that he has his whole story, or what, from I think maybe from the time he grew up all the way to his wrestling career. You know, New Jack did a lot of crazy stuff back in the days, jumping from balconies, landing on top of wrestlers. Very violent guy. You know the story about him slicing a wrestler called MTA and slicing him from one side of the ear to the other. So that's a crazy thing. Reason why Triple H wasn't giving the Raw executive director spot was because there's word going around that he was scared that he will fail in that spot, and that's why they were giving it to either Eric Bischoff or Paul Heyman. So that everybody's like wondering what the hell happened there. But you know, even though Triple H has done so well in NXT, I guess that's the word going around. I'm telling you what I'm getting the info from, and that's what's going on. Alberto Del Rio to face Tito Ortiz. Yes, Tito Ortiz. That Tito Ortiz from UFC. Apparently, that Alberto Del Rio has a new company, and it's not a wrestling company, it's an MMA company. So he will be facing Tito Ortiz. We don't know the date yet, but who knows? Joey Janela, getting into it with Enzo Amore in some concert in Jersey. They almost went at it. They squared off, but no punches went through. I call Enzo Amore. He pretty much I call him a jerk off because Enzo Amore, he got mic skills, but he ain't got no wrestling skills. So that's a whole different story in that realm. I mean, he's irrelevant and he's still trying to make noise. And all you're showing is giving more reasons to a lot of these federations not to give you, or promotions not to give you a contract, because you're making noise, but it's negative noise. So I don't understand it. But once again, I want to thank everybody who joined me today. And like I said, you like what you see, subscribe to this channel, hit the notification bell, leave me your comments, feedback on anything, give me a thumbs up. Again, I'm on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook with the same name, Ultimate One Wrestling News. I also have a podcast and iTunes called Ultimate One Wrestling Report. I do 2 of them every week. So if you can, check that out. And I want to say to you guys, have a good weekend. Enjoy the shows that are coming up. Fight for the Fallen, Evolve, and the D Block for New Japan coming up. So once again, thank you and have a good night.
I'm the original ultimate, and I'm still calm and humble.